So it finally happened. You decided to start playing Magic the Gathering, but it's a little overwhelming trying to figure out where to go to play the game, where to learn more about it, how to get better, where to go to buy cards, build decks, everything you could possibly want to do. The point of this video is to give you, a brand new player, an overview as to all the resources you could possibly want and maybe need while you're going to be playing Magic the Gathering. So let's get started. The first thing a lot of players are going to want to do is to buy cards to start their collection. There's one resource that's better than all the others for this, hands down, and this is very important to remember. You should shop at your local game store, your LGS. That's where you're more than likely going to play the majority of your games, your tournaments, where you're going to play the latest set as soon as it's out, and these are real people who are going to be affected by your patronage and who you're going to be interacting with frequently. On top of that, if you're not sure where to start, the staff at your LGS or any other players there can recommend products based on your budget and your interests. Are you getting into Magic to play casually with your friends as just a hobby, or are you a competitive gamer in general who's going to want to play some hardcore Magic with some high stakes and huge prizes? I'm not saying it will always be the cheapest to shop at your local game store, but it'll always be the best thing for the community that you will be a part of, as it will help keep that store in business and it will help them put on more events with better prizes and maybe even open up more stores down the line. Always shop local if you can. If, however, your LGS doesn't have the card or product you're looking for, then you have a few options as to where to buy from. Card Kingdom, Channel Fireball, and TCG Player are probably the best and most widely used resources. There's not necessarily one that's better than the others, as prices and selections can vary, so feel free to check them out yourself and decide which you prefer. Once you've actually built a moderate collection, you can also start trading cards that you opened in packs or that you bought but no longer want for other cards that you're currently searching for. To do this, you're going to want to make sure you know the value of each card. TCG Player is widely considered the most accurate resource for MTG pricing, and there's a helpful app called MTG Familiar which allows you to add the cards that you're trading for and trading away while comparing the TCG prices. Try to get this number as close to zero as possible to make the trade fair for both parties, but don't really fret if it's within 50 cents or so. What if you want to plan out the cards that you're going to use to build a deck before actually spending any money on it? Or you want to share a deck list of a deck you already have with a friend? You're going to want to use a deck building website, and the best one out there by far is Moxfield. Now, it's a relatively new site and it's constantly being upgraded, but it has a very intuitive user interface, several useful functions, and provides tons of information about your deck. Now, what if you want to see what decks other people are building so that you can kind of get an idea for the one you want to build? Well, if you're playing any competitive one-on-one format, MTG Goldfish is a great resource for what decks are in the meta at the time, with suggested deck lists, deck costs, and percentage of people playing that deck. If you're playing Commander, also known as EDH, then EDH Rec is definitely where you want to look. Commander is less about having the most optimized deck, so on EDH Rec you're going to find more suggestions and statistics for what percentage of players have that card in their deck, rather than having a complete list that is the best way to play a certain deck. Once you start deck building, how do you find cards to include or consider putting into your decks? Scryfall is a comprehensive database of Magic cards, which allows you to search for cards based on name, color, text, or basically any other quality that you could possibly be interested in. Whenever I build a deck, I have Scryfall open, searching for cards, and when I find one that I like, I pop on over to Moxfield and put that card into the deck list. Now that you have put together a deck list, bought the cards for it, where do you play it? Now, if you just put together a deck of random cards with no specific format in mind, you're going to want to play with your friends who have built decks in a similar fashion, either at their home or yours, or you can go to an LGS to play those games too. But if you built a deck for a specific format, then find out if your LGS runs any events for that format, and start participating in those. If they don't, you should mention to them that you're wanting to play that format. Maybe they'll start running an event now that they know there's interest in it. What if you want to play Magic with one of your friends, but they don't live close enough to you to meet up at your local game store? Maybe they live across the country, or maybe they live overseas. There's a great website called Spelltable that allows players to play games using a webcam. One of the best parts about using Spelltable is that it allows you to play your paper decks rather than operating digitally, which offers a lot of restrictions. At minimum, you will need a computer, a webcam, and a microphone to make this work, but there are ways you can replace these pieces of equipment with a smartphone smartphone if that's all that you have? What if you want to play a game of Magic when it's late or early and your LGS isn't running a game, or maybe you just don't feel like leaving your house? Then you're going to want to use MTG Arena or Magic Online. MTG Arena has a more modern user interface, has a great walkthrough to actually learn the game, and allows you to play some formats you can't anywhere else, such as Historic, Alchemy, or a best of one version of Standard. However, it has a highly predatory economy with a two-part currency system designed to be confusing and a client they constantly are updating to make more expensive to players and less friendly. I cannot stress enough how expensive Arena can be for new players, especially if you're not sure what format you want to play, and so you want to try them all. Magic Online, or MTGO, has a more outdated user interface and is a bit clunkier in that it doesn't automate as many things for you. But really, that just means you have more control over your gameplay. The benefits of Magic Online are that you can play nearly any format that exists in Magic, you can earn better prizes for events, and your cards actually hold value, meaning you can buy them, use them for years, and then sell them just like a paper card. Those are all the best resources for the physical side of playing Magic: how to get cards, how to build decks, and how to actually play the game. But Magic is a strategy game, and that means a lot of the best resources for playing it are more about the theory of the game, the mental component. How do you learn about a new format? How do you get better at Magic as a whole? Not just what cards do you put into your decks, but why? Unlike most of what we've talked about, there's not one best resource to learn all of this theory. But there are tons of great content creators who can help you with these questions. If you're wanting to get better at Commander, then you should check out creators who talk about Commander and those who play Commander. Some great channels to check out are The Command Zone, I Hate Your Deck, The Spike Feeders, One More Mana, Mental Misplay, Stacked EDH, and EDH Deck Building. These are all great YouTube channels that teach you how to build better decks, how to play better during the game, or just show you some high-quality Commander gameplay. And there are tons more great creators out there. This is just a few of the ones that I picked and that I personally really enjoy. If you're wanting to draft, then podcasts like Limited Resources or Lords of Limited are very helpful. But one of the best ways to get better is to watch people draft and play the games after drafting. There are tons of great Twitch streamers out there. Numatanami, Gabby Sparts, Amazonian, Deathsea, Voxy, Bloody, and certainly dozens more. So definitely just start looking for them, and I'm sure you'll find tons that you really enjoy. Or if you're wanting to play Constructed 1v1, Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, Pauper, or any of the other formats, then you should check out people like Saffron Olive, Pleasant Kenobi, and SBMTG. Again, there are tons more content creators out there. One of the great things about Magic the Gathering is that it's not just about the game. In addition to everything that I've mentioned, you can check out Ristic Studies if you want to learn more about the lore, history, and art of the game. MTG Remy makes funny and catchy song parodies, and there are tons more creators making fun and unique content. There are, of course, many more resources out there for different ways to interact with the game that you may find you want to use, but this is just kind of the basics of playing Magic the Gathering. There are links to everything that I talked about, every single content creator and resource in the description, so make sure to check those out. I hope very much this video was helpful in giving you the framework that you're going to need to start playing Magic the Gathering in its entirety. And thank you very much for watching.